Hi, this is Dr. Sip Shankar. I am a cardiothoracic and vascular surgeon. I have been associated with MedLife since a long time. Varicose veins are actually large swollen veins that often appears on legs and feet. It occurs due to defective valves and defective blood circulation. To understand this, we have to know about the veins of the leg. There are three types of leg veins: superficial, deep, and perforator veins. Superficial veins lie superficial to the muscular fascia of leg. Deep veins lie deep to the muscular fascia, and the perforating veins are the veins which perforate through the muscular fascia and connect superficial veins to deep veins. Superficial veins like great saphenous vein and short saphenous vein, they join the deep veins at saphenofemoral junction and saphenopoppliteal junction. All these veins contain valves in them with unidirectional flow only. Hence, deep veins drain blood from leg back to the heart against the gravity. Varicose veins occur only when these veins are defective or leaky, leading to reflux of the blood, and hence there is pooling and stagnation in the superficial veins, causing dilatation of the veins. We use a classification called CEAP classification, CEAP, which stands for clinical signs, etiological origin, and anatomic site and pathologic distribution for overall assessment of this varicose vein. Varicose veins are mostly genetic. They run in families. Age increases the risk due to the degeneration of the valves and reflux with increased age. Females are 3 times more prone because of the estrogen hormone. Oral contraceptive pills increases the risk. Pregnancy increases the risk because of the IVC compression by the fetus. Occupations like powerlifting and prolonged sitting or standing also increases the risk. Obesity is also a risk factor to mention. Initially, patients will not have any symptom, and it takes a lot of time, even decades, to develop symptoms. Initially, they are in milder form of spider veins or reticular feeder veins, and when the size of this vein increase more than 3 millimeter, then they are called as varicose veins. Patient will often complain of bulged out twisted veins, swollen legs with throbbing pain or cramping of the leg at night due to chronic venous stasis, discoloration and pigmentation dermatitis due to hemosiderin from lysed RBC, often called lipodermatosclerosis. Itching can happen due to biliverdin deposition. There will be symptoms like eczema, ulceration, and disfigurement, ultimately ugly appearance of the leg. Management plans. Why we'll have to treat these veins actually? Because varicose veins never get better, and they may cause serious health consequences if not treated. They can lead to hemorrhage, pigmentation, eczemas, and dermatitis, chronic non-healing venous ulcer. We often call it as Marjolin ulcer, osteomyelitis, periosteoitis, calcification of the venous wall, and there may be recurrent thrombophlebitis. The list is long. Hence the patient should meet his doctor and discuss about the disease and the treatment modalities. We usually look for a series of clinical signs and elicit a number of tests for patency of saphenofemoral and saphenopoppliteal junction and patency and localization of the perforator veins, and also assess the deep venous thrombosis. Duplex ultrasonography is the most definitive test. Both grayscale and color Doppler studies have done for saphenofemoral junction and saphenopoppliteal junction competency, and reflux are checked. Valvular incompetence are often clearly seen and perforators are localized and patency can be checked. DVT should always be ruled out before initiating any treatment. If DVT is there, deep venous thrombosis, I mean, any surgery for varicose vein is contraindicated. First, you treat the DVT, start the anticoagulation. Initial conservative treatments are there for milder variety of the disease. We often call it a Bisgard's method. We use elastic crepe bandage applied below upward, or use graded or graduated compression stockings with pressure gradient of 30 to 40 millimeter mercury. Massage of the indurated area, whole calf, and elevation of the foot above the heart. Cleaning of the ulcer. Ulcer dressing can be done with USOL solution. Antibiotics can be started if required. Certain exercises are there for varicose vein which can be done. Basic surgical procedures are stripping of the saphenous vein. In stripping, we put a stripper called Myers stripper with an olive at its tip, and we take the whole vein out. And second one is the ligation of the perforator. We just block the connection by ligating the perforator veins. And the decision of the surgery are based on the duplex ultrasound finding. And if there is no saphenofemoral junction incompetence, then we can go for only stab avulsion and take out the vein, often called the phlebectomy or ambulatory phlebectomy. And if there is no isolated or there is isolated saphenofemoral junction incompetence, then we can go for stripping of the great saphenous vein only. And if there is both saphenofemoral junction incompetence along with the perforator incompetence, we have to do stripping of the great saphenous vein along with the ligation of the perforators. If there is only saphenopopliteal incompetence, then saphenopopliteal ligation will also. And if there is a deep venous reflux, and in that case we have elastic compression and intermittent leg elevation option, and valvuloplasty can also be done. And for small veins like reticular or spider veins for cosmetic purpose, surface treatment option can be provided. Sclerotherapy, there are sclerosants, the chemicals like polydocanols, sodium tetradecyl sulfate, which when injected into the vein, they irritate and scars the vein and causes the vein to close off and fade away. And there are Fagan's method and Tessari's foam technique. In Fagan's method, by injecting the sclerosant into the vein, there happens aseptic inflammation and complete sclerosis of the venous wall. And in Tessari foam technique, we prepare foam by mixing the sclerosant with the air before injecting them into the veins. And there are also Turkish glue that are now in market with good results. These can be tried. Minimally invasive treatment options. They are the new revolutionary treatment modalities like EVLA or EVRFA. EVLA is endovenous laser ablation. In EVRFA is endovenous radiofrequency ablation. Here the catheter which contains the laser or radiofrequency fiber is introduced into the vein. Thermal ablation is done using the laser or radiofrequency energy. And instead of surgically removing the vein, we basically turn that vein into scar tissue, which will subsequently absorb into the body. These procedures are done in daycare basis under local tumescence anesthesia, and when the procedure is finished, no stitches will be necessary, fulfilling the satisfaction of the patient, and patient can resume normal activities. And we encourage them to work immediately after the procedure. Only restrictions are the heavy weight lifting or strenuous exercises till 4 to 6 weeks. We usually do a screening ultrasound scan 48 hours after the procedure, only to ensure the successfulness of the procedure. Thank you for your presence. Thank you.